Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Sports Card Madness, brought to you by DraftKings and their app Pick Six. Sign up with code Madness6 for $50 in free credits. This is LZ. I'm here with Nick. Today on the show, we're just going to cover everything that's happening in the hobby. There's a lot going on right now. There always is a lot going on right now.
Always.
But this is our chance to recap it for all of you. All right? So, Nick, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Excited for this one.
All right, I got a vent. Well, I don't know if it's a vent. This is more like me putting my feet up on the couch right now and having like a therapy session with you in the audience
Oh
right
no.
now. Um, I made a big decision recently in my life, and it's one that I feel a little saddened about, Nick. I have identified as a Patriots season ticket holder
Oh.
for the past 21 years of my life. And I have these tickets. I have four tickets, and it's with three of my buddies. And we're all from all we grew up in Foxborough. I've talked about that before, where the Patriots are from. And we made the decision to not renew our season tickets this year.
Didn't
And
Robert
we're getting
Kraft
rid of them.
himself do an override for you to get these tickets?
He did.
That's
He did.
sad. This is a sad
He
day,
did
man. I feel
21
bad for
years
you.
ago. I know. I
Like
still have.
it's like getting a divorce or something, man. Like
It
this
is.
this lasts longer than a lot of marriages.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough when you have three other owners of these tickets, right?
Yeah.
I think if I was the sole decision maker in this, I probably would have held on to him for a bit longer. But again, I mentioned like I grew up in Foxborough. I grew up like going to the stadium in the summers trying to get autographs. I grew up sneaking into football games before I even started working there. And then I worked for the Patriots for, geez, it was probably 7 years. And, Nick mentioned the only thing I ever asked for when I worked there was when I left, I asked Kraft if he could help me with the season tickets, and he got them for me. And a small slice of me, like this is part of my identity.
Yeah, that's
Like,
crazy.
oh yeah, Larry, he's a season ticket holder. Oh yeah, that's cool. He's the season ticket holder to the Patriots, right?
Yeah.
It's uh
And now not.
it's a sad day. But if you look at it from a financial situation, we lost $1,500 last year on our tickets because we didn't
Yeah.
go to all the games and we had to sell them. There was one game I remember where I think our tickets are roughly like let's call them $150 a ticket. I think we sold one of our games for $29 a ticket on StubHub.
Oh.
$150 ticket for
They're
$29.
just not that good, man. I mean, it's not
Uh,
2004, okay?
it's
Sadly, believe
yeah,
me, I'd rather be 24 right now.
it's not.
But it's tough. Like when you go to an NFL game, man, it's not like you go to an NBA game, all right? You show up, there's a clock, and you're good, and you're indoors, and you're warm, and like you're out of there in like
In and out,
2.5
two
hours,
two
right?
and a half hours.
Not so in Foxborough.
No,
Not so. It's
definitely not in
your
Foxborough. It's
day's
a
gone. Your
nightmare.
entire day is gone.
Yeah, it's an 8 hour day.
Yeah. This is
It
a part-time
really
job.
is.
It's I mean,
It's
so
a
you got 8 games
yeah,
and
yeah,
or nine depending on what's going on that season, and
mhm,
it's a part-time job. Like
yeah.
it's crazy. So I feel for you,
It's a
man.
sad, sad day. It did make so now I'll turn it into a positive. I got my invoice for my Celtics season tickets,
Yeah.
and they went up on their prices,
Of course they did.
and that's how I justified it. I said, "Well, I'm getting rid of the Patriots, so now I don't mind spending a little extra on these Celtics."
Yeah, see, the
So
Celtics is good because you get
yeah,
the events with it. Like you were able to hook us up with a nice suite for a
that's right.
concert, you know. So
That's
there's
right.
actually really awesome
Yeah.
benefits with the Celtics tickets. So
Yeah, and a bone to pick there, right? And I'm going to end it here. But with the Patriots, I used to always get offered concert tickets when
yeah,
you were a season ticket holder. Any concert that came through, you'd get the pre-sale. And for some reason, well, I know why, but when Taylor Swift came to Gillette Stadium, never got asked, never had an opportunity to get those tickets. And ever since that, every other concert's been the same way.
wow, all right,
No option. So it's almost like some of the perks are disappearing. I
yeah,
also don't like, Kraft is not spending where he should be on free agency. But we can go down a whole football
yeah.
tangent. We won't
Back
go
to
down
sports
that
cards.
tangent. Let's get back to sports cards, everybody. Nick, so let's cover. I'll run through the topics. This one you wanted to take it, and I'll do some
Yeah.
back and forth with you on the Paul Skenes and who purchased this Paul Skenes card.
This came out of left field, man.
Yeah.
Paul Skeens one of one card. It's the debut patch card, and it's a 10/10, right? It went to auction at Fanatics Collect. It sold for 1.1 million. And I thought, like, oh,
Mm,
some whale just got this to be like, I own this card, whatever. Nope. Dick's Sporting Goods bought the card. All right. What's your first reaction to that?
interesting.
Like your instant reaction?
Instant reaction is just wow. That feels strange. Like
Yeah.
that's my
Have you ever
instant
heard of this?
reaction.
You know,
No,
like,
I'd never seen
are
it before.
have companies been bidding on golden auctions and heritage auctions?
Just
Maybe they
hoarding
have. I don't know.
cards,
Yeah.
maybe.
Um,
Yeah.
but then after the first 15-second
hmm
reaction, I
hmm
started to think about it and I was like, oh, all right. Dick's Sporting Goods, where do you think their headquarters is?
Oh, it's probably in Pennsylvania
Yeah,
somewhere.
it's in Coriopolis, which is a
There we
really
go.
nice, another way of saying Pittsburgh. I had a project
Okay.
there for GSK once, so it's actually a really nice area.
Hmm.
So they're in Pittsburgh, right? And so they actually opened up a new flagship store there. And this store is going to have what's called a collector's space, which
Ooh,
will feature
cool.
sports cards
Mm.
and other things. And this will be on display there.
It'll be
So
front and center
yeah. And you
for
know what I
sure.
thought of right away? And this is near and dear to both our hearts. I thought of Jordan's furniture in the wintertime, right?
Oh,
Where
yes.
it's free. It's free to go to the
hmm
Enchanted Village, right? It doesn't
hmm
cost anything. I mean, you can pay for the photos or whatever, but to
Yeah.
actually walk through it, it's free. However, you have to walk through the entire
Oh, the
furniture
entire store.
building to
Yeah,
get
and when
there.
you leave, you have to walk through the
Yes.
entire furniture, and you get
With
lost on the way
with
out.
your wife who says, "I
So,
want that coffee table. I want that. I want that
it's
sofa."
true. It's true. Yeah, for those that aren't in the New England area, Jordan's Furniture is like it is a furniture store on steroids. Like if I'm trying to
Yeah.
think of like ones that are across the country, like you have like Ashley Furniture and what like think of Ashley Furniture 10x the size of
Like
an
they have an
Ashley
IMAX
Furniture.
theater, okay?
Yes.
They have a Fuddruckers, which is a local burger joint in there. It's a
hmm
nice burger
Ice
joint.
cream.
Ice
They
cream,
have
like
they have a
tr
trapeze. They have
trampoline stuff. Like
trampoline park stuff. Yeah,
they got a light
all in
show every like 10 minutes, like some
yeah,
crazy thing.
lasers.
Jelly
They
Belly
have
has like a shop in there. All right,
they
we're
have a Bellagio's fountain
come
thing in
check
there
out
too.
Jordan's if you're ever in Massachusetts.
It's
They're
wild.
awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I thought like, all right, well,
That's
this is
interesting.
it's a smart, it's actually a smart play. Like I
Mm,
imagine the strategy team at Dick's was like, this is a great idea. Let's take it to the CMO.
yeah.
Hey, let's buy this card. It's like unlimited marking for however long he's with the team, which I think
hmm
will be a little while. I don't know how good he's going to be. But even if you get this one wrong, you can buy another card and display it there. And I thought,
Right.
like, what an interesting strategy. We always talk about
Yeah,
like
it
this.
could be all local. It just could be local memorabilia. You could get like I don't know, like all the sports teams jerseys signed and
Well, in this
old
digital
bats.
world, man,
Yeah.
experiences are key. You
Yeah,
know,
you got
if
to
you
bring
can get
people in.
somebody to leave
Mhm.
the house and come to you, that's really powerful.
Huge.
And so I think
Yeah.
other
I mean,
businesses may
retail
look at this.
stores they're closing everywhere, Nick. I mean, I know this isn't really doesn't really hit our demo, but Forever 21 is a very, very popular female store. I just heard this morning that it's closing, that it's done.
Yeah.
It's done. So, I mean, to your point around getting people to leave their house with experiences,
So how
yeah, this
soon
is
will it
really
be
interesting.
until Fenway Park? You know, they buy
Yeah.
some crazy one of one of
Well,
some player, or and display it like a museum or something. You know?
let's stay on that thread. I'm assuming that the store that they're building is going to be very similar to the store that was built in downtown Boston. There
Mm.
is a crazy Dick's Sporting Goods in
Oh
Boston
yeah.
that has like a rock climbing wall. It's got like it's just huge. It's got like a batting cage in it. It's got everything. And it's like 3 floors. And you got me thinking, I wonder if the Boston store is now going to carve out a museum in one of the corners and start buying up Jason Tatum things
And maybe they sell
and
wax,
Red
right?
Sox stuff and sell wax. Yeah. hmm
Yeah, so I think I mean there's a lot of
hmm
conspiracy theorists who are like, well, Fanatics has, they sell clothing with dicks and stuff like that.
Well, it's true. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, they're probably
okay, but I
yeah.
think I think Fanatics is probably low single digits of what Dick's does in revenue. I don't think it's enough to put any pressure on them to buy. I think they actually wanted to buy this and
Yeah,
test this
I
out.
think so too, right? Dick's is all about like the Under Armours and the Nikes of the world and the golf
Yeah.
section
And
and the
equipment
sneakers and
and
equipment. Yeah.
yeah, like
It's
camping
it's
and
it's less around going there to buy a Celtics sweatshirt. I
yeah,
think
that's
it's less around that.
right. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. Like I guess we'll learn more. If any of our listeners are in or near Pittsburgh, let us know if you end up
Yeah.
there. Maybe we'll even have you on, take some pictures, and just tell us what it's like when it ultimately ends up there. I'm really
Mm.
curious, you know?
Yeah, let's pay attention, everybody. I'm going to definitely pay attention to the Boston store as well and see
Yeah,
what they
for
do
sure.
there. So, all right, let's move on to the next one. We have an interesting bounty. We haven't talked about bounties in a while, Nick. All right. Well, we'll get there.
I
All
wonder
right.
why.
So, there is a 2025 Tops Tier 1, one of one, Evan Longoria, and it's a cut of the knob of his bat. And on the knob of his bat is actually a Charizard.
Hmm.
So they sliced off the very tip of that knob and they threw that into a card. It's a 101. It's coming out soon. And someone posted I think it was $100,000 bounty
Yep.
for this card. So it's interesting because we haven't seen. I mean, it's a pretty cool, right? Like we've seen knobs before, but this one is this is a really cool knob, right? If you've
Right.
seen pictures, it's got the Charizard on it.
With his number and
So this is
everything.
a cool one. This is a really cool one. And 100. All right, so let's first focus on the actual bounty itself. Do you feel like 100 grand is too high, too little? What do you think? 100 grand for
Before a Cheeto sold for 90 grand, I would have said
it?
that this bounty's ridiculous. You
Yeah,
know, he hasn't
yeah.
played, he's retired, right?
I think it was 2023, so 2 seasons ago might have been his last one.
Is he a Hall of Famer?
Ooh,
I don't really
Ah,
watch a ton of baseball.
I don't either. I mean, he definitely was like one of the hot baseball players for a while. I
All
don't
right, so
know. I don't
maybe
know enough about him.
at best a fringe. All right, so
Yeah, I think he's probably fringe, we'll
fringe.
say.
All right, and
Yeah.
so I
Hmm.
think this is less of a baseball play than it is a Pokemon play. So
Hmm.
this is kind of a unique card, right? It's a licensed MLB card that has something from Pokemon on it,
Hmm.
not necessarily licensed because it was on a bat. So I actually think this is a pretty unique item, and
Yeah.
I think Pokemon people might be interested in this. So I can't believe
Ooh.
I'm saying this, and it's only because a Cheeto sold for 90. I actually think this is fair. Um,
Yeah,
if the
because of the
Cheeto didn't
Pokemon.
sell, I would have
Hmm.
said no way. But
Right.
I think it's actually a fair bounty.
Yeah,
Actually,
and that Jordan's Cheeto, I think that thing's up to like 10 grand right now. So look for that one as well. That's gonna be on
I
golden
got a
auction.
bag of flaming hot Cheetos in the closet there, man,
Yeah.
and I'm like I'm coming up with
All
all
right,
kinds
so
of
let's
ways.
talk about real quick about the career stats for Evan Longoria.
Okay.
He's a three-time All-Star. He was Rookie of the Year in 2008. He's a three-time Glove
Oh,
winner,
that's
and
pretty
he
good.
won the Silver Slugger 1 year. I mean, three-time Gold Glove, three-time All-Star, Silver Slugger 1 year.
300 home
Um,
runs.
Statistics wise, he's a 364 hitter. I don't know. I guess it probably is fringe. I think it's probably fringe.
I asked ChatGPT real quick, and he
It
says
was
the career is similar to Scott Rowland, who did get in, or maybe even
mm,
Adrian Beltre, but
okay.
Rowland had stronger defensive metrics and more peak seasons. Longoria falls a bit short in total accolades. He's never an MVP, only three All Stars. He doesn't have that like
GPT
500
for
home
the
run.
win. Love it.
Yeah,
Yes.
I so he's fringe. He's
Yeah.
not quite Hall of
All right.
Fame. So whatever. I mean,
But it's the Pokemon side of it, Nick.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
so right on that
It's
Charizard
on a
one, man.
licensed
It's just
MLB
a
card. It's a
yeah.
cool crossover, I think.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
wouldn't
So
buy it, but I think somebody will for 100 grand.
we'll have to see. Okay. All right. Let's move on to the next one. The next one we wanted to talk about is, are some people playing by different rules than the rest of us in the hobby?
Right.
And you kind of had an interesting way to break it down when we were kind of preparing for this show. So you can kick this thing off, and then let's just have a discussion around your thoughts around playing by different rules.
Yeah, so let's just say I'm some Joe off the street and you
Hmm.
just buy a card, okay?
Hmm.
You buy a card, card appreciates in price, and you sell the card and you report that difference in taxes and whatever. Nothing special. That's just what we're doing, right?
Yep.
But then I thought about like, what if you're a business buying cards. I think the Dick's thing inspired me. So
Mm,
let's say instead of Nick buying a card, I form Nick's Memorabilia Company, LLC. Okay. I
okay.
do that like tomorrow. And now I'm buying cards, but they're actually expenses. Okay. And
Hmm.
buying and selling. And then obviously the travel's deductible and the grading fees are deductible and all sorts of other things. And I thought to myself, like, that's interesting because you could have the average Joe going after an auction, but then you could have Nick's Memorabilia Company, LLC, going after the auction.
Hmm.
And the card's almost discounted if you own a memorabilia company. So
True, because you're deducting. Yeah.
exactly. And so
Hmm.
whatever your taxes are for that year, let's say they're 30% or something like that. Let's
Hmm.
say you buy an MJ at auction for 100 grand, okay? Your cost is 100 grand. But now that is a business expense. Is if you plan to use that as inventory to sell. You could even depreciate it too. That's going to get even weirder. We won't go down there.
Mm.
But all right, so it's 100 grand and your tax rate is 30%. You have now got that card for 70 grand, where the
Yeah, you got it
average.
for a discount.
And so you could almost pay
So you
30%
could,
more
yeah, you could pay 30%
and break
more than
even.
any one of us. Any one of us average Joes who's bidding on these cards.
And even more cleverly,
Hmm.
what I would do if I had Nick's Memorabilia Company, LLC, you'd buy a bunch of these things and you'd sell them for a profit, right? I mean, you have to get it right and you have to buy the right things. And then you could do that exchange where, I don't know, you turn it into a house or
Mm.
some other new business that you're going to start and you postpone the gains and you postpone the taxes. So I think this is interesting. I think
Wow.
some people in the hobby are doing this, and I
Mm.
think it's starting to show at
You
some
could
auction prices.
you can actually drive the market up yourself then too, right? This could
Right.
really help you out, right? Like,
Exactly, because this isn't stocks and bonds. They're not securities. There's no SEC Act.
mm,
There are no rules to say Nick's Memorabilia Company can't buy all the Jordan PSA 10s and do a bunch of videos on Instagram about all the how awesome these 10s are
yeah.
and join a bunch of private groups and pump these 10s up or even have other people work for you to pump them up. And this is all hypothetical stuff. And it's fascinating, right? So like you could do that and you could actually create a market for yourself
Hmm.
and it's a company. It's wild. And I actually think
Mm.
this is happening in some areas. I mean, I'm just making up stuff, but it's an
Oh,
interesting concept.
it's definitely happening.
Yeah.
It definitely is. Yeah. That's interesting. And I love the museum idea, right? Just a non for
Oh,
right?
that's clever. So people were
Yeah.
asking me about the Paul Skenes card and how you could
Yeah.
get out of taxes. I said you could fly to a very tax advantageous country like Puerto Rico. You could
Hmm.
live there for, I think it's 162 days, and you pay 5% tax. I almost did this, but my wife vetoed it like a few years ago. I was like, sign me up.
Well, you got
But
small kids, right?
yeah,
Once they
yeah.
grow, once they're out of the
Puerto
house,
Rico's
maybe
not
you do
bad.
it. Yeah.
So the other thing you can do is there's a nonprofit museum, and you
Yeah.
could
Nonprofit.
donate. You declare the price of the donation at the value that you paid for the card. You donate that card to the museum, and now you are writing. You have to make more than that to get the deduction,
Mm.
obviously. But if you make 1 million and you donate 500,000, then you get the full benefit of that deduction. So that's a pretty interesting. So there's just different rules, man.
Could
Like
could I set up my own museum? So around depreciation and stuff, Nick, right?
yeah,
Could
you
I
could.
buy because I want to keep these. I don't necessarily want to flip them.
Yeah.
What's a way that I
The
can
LZ
keep them?
Museum, right?
Why couldn't I create my own museum
Now I imagine
where I
there's
display my
licenses.
collection
Could.
and then I don't know, 20 years later my museum closes and I keep my collection?
I think you could. I'm sure every state has their own regulations to be a nonprofit
Oh,
museum and fees and permits and all that. Are you going to have people visit? Is it going to be a hey, let's do a virtual museum, I don't know.
sure.
VR, put like a VR museum or something like
There we
that.
go.
But I think it's important to think about these things because
Hmm.
stuff's changing in the space, technology's entering the space. Just realize when you're in an auction and it might feel a little weird, maybe there's a company bidding, or maybe they're
Yeah.
already making money no matter where the auction ends and it doesn't matter
Mm.
as much. Or maybe it's a normal auction, but I always like to think about things a little deeper.
Yeah, I like that. Very cool. All right. Let's get to our regular segment that we now have on the show. Bonehead Breakers, everybody. Who is the bonehead breaker for today, Nick?
All right, the bonehead breaker for today is Blue Mountain Breaks. Okay, they're on Whatnot, and they have a repacking business. It's actually they franchise it out, and they have a couple people opening packs. And I always say that repacks are like carnival games. There's no oversight, there's no rules. And he started off with all right, all right, all right, like the Matthew McConaughey, like,
Okay.
and
Yep.
he
Hmm.
pulled it out. He held the sweat, which is people are sweating to find out what it is. So it's called the sweat. All this gambling terminology. He holds it in front of the camera, and his hand goes one way, and his hand goes another way, and it's like ta-da with the card. And then I poked fun at it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, shake it, shake it, shake it," and like here's that, whatever.
Hmm.
And it was pretty embarrassing. I don't think there was any fraud. I just think the guy was probably clumsy, and I just made fun of him for being clumsy. But it just goes
Okay.
to show like these repacks, you just got to be careful.
You really do.
It's just shenanigans.
It's hard. Yeah, it's back to what we've been saying a lot. There's got to be regulation. There's got to be audits in this space. We say it over and over and over again. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Okay, well that was the bonehead breaker of the day. Tune in next time for another bonehead breaker. But let's get to question of the day, Nick.
Hmm.
All right. I'm gonna ask this one to you. If you could choose to go to any sporting event, money's no object, whatever you want to do, what would it be and why?
All right. My first reaction is World Cup final, just because that's
Ooh.
like
Oh,
peak,
yeah.
peak competitiveness, and
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the greatest tournaments ever. But
Mm-hmm.
then I thought what would be a lot more fun
Mm-hmm.
would be to I'm just making up stuff here. Take $500,000, go to Monaco, watch an F1 race, gamble, have fun at the casinos, and I think that would be pretty amazing to watch F1 in Monaco.
Oh my God, Nick. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. I wrote down because I'm asking the question. I said I want to go to the Monaco Grand Prix.
Just for the audience, we
Plus,
never share these. Like I swear. That's
all right,
awesome.
so I'm going to
Cool.
elaborate.
All right,
I'm
we're
going to
both gonna
elaborate.
go.
I want to go to the Monaco Grand Prix F1 race and not only be a spectator, I want to be on one of those yachts that's right on the ocean, right next to the track, and
Yeah.
I'm to be sipping some, I don't know, what are you drinking? What do you drink in Monaco? Like a Bellini. I'm gonna be drinking a Bellini on a yacht, watching these F1 cars. I cannot believe out of all the damn sporting events,
We've
you
never talked
chose
about this either. I don't think I've
you
ever
you
brought
chose
up Monaco ever.
no, no.
That's
Although we
crazy.
did we did talk about going to Montreal to an F1 race before, and
We
we
did. That's
still gonna
fun.
try to
Let's make that happen
do that one.
actually.
Yeah, let's
Um,
try to make
all
that
right,
happen.
so what was your second one?
Second, I think the Masters on Sunday, like the
Ooh,
final round of the
yeah.
Masters, sounds really cool. I mean, in the heyday with certainly Tiger Woods, but the energy seems like electric at the
It's beautiful
Masters. It
too.
just does,
Just make
yeah.
sure it's not raining and
Birds
it's nice.
chirping,
Yeah.
springtime. So that was the other one that came to mind. So,
I love it. I love it,
all
man.
right,
All right,
all
sounds
right,
good.
everybody.
Thanks everyone.
Bye, everyone.